Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Tobacco Card Tuesday. Well, yesterday I was excited. I got the card sitting in front of you in the mail, and it finally completed something I've been working on a real long time, and that is collecting players from the 1884 World Series champion Providence Grays. They were actually the very first World Series, and they beat the New York Metropolitans. The Grays were in the National League, and the Metropolitans were in the American Association. And it was the first World Series. I've been getting cards as I stumble upon them, but this is something I always wanted to do. And I kind of went hard the last 2 months. I needed like 4 cards, and I was able to get them. And I finally got just about the complete team. The 9 position players, backup utility infielder, and 8 position players, backup utility infielder, and 2 pitchers. The only thing, there is no card made of the backup catcher. He retired before they started doing baseball cards. So anyways, let me show you what I got. Now, I plan on doing 3 videos. This one is just to show the players from the World Series champion 1884 team. The next video will be in the future, a future Tobacco Card Tuesday, and I want to go into details about the players. And then there'll be a 3rd video in future Tobacco Card Tuesday about the other players from different years on the Providence Grays. And Providence Grays have a lot of unique things, and hopefully you'll watch the 2nd and 3rd videos and learn all that. Well, let me just introduce the players to you. This is Barney Gilligan. He was the starting catcher of the 1884 Providence Grays. This is a gold coin Buckner. And that's what the back of these Buckner cards look like. They're in gold coin chewing tobacco. And this is from 1887. The Providence Grays stopped operating in 1885, the year after they won the World Series. So all these players are on different teams. And Barney is on the Washington team. So that was the lead. That was our starting catcher. The backup catcher, there is no card. I do have a block print from Harper's Weekly that shows him. It was a team block print, and he's sitting down right in front. And later, Tobacco Card Tuesday, I'll show him that and talk to you about him, because he's pretty special himself. Sandy Nava was his name, and he has an interesting story as well. Okay, first baseman is Joe Start. Now, Joe retired also before they started doing cards, so I don't have any active cards to him either. I do have a Harper's Weekly, a different one. Well, he's in the one with Sandy Nava, and I also got a second Harper's Weekly that shows stars of the game, and he was one of them. Joe Start actually started a long time ago when baseball was first being started, and I used to play at Elijah Field in Hoboken. He was playing then, and he played for the Providence Grays, and when they disbanded, he retired. Very good first baseman, Joe Start. Second baseman, Jack Farrell. Now, this is another Buckner gold coin card. I wish this has kind of been around the block. If you see these Buckner gold coin cards and they're not all scuffed up like this one. They are very beautiful. They're kind of generic. Other players use the same exact pose. Like other second basemen will look just like this. The uniforms are recolored to be accurate, and facial features are redone to be accurate. Like if a second baseman was using the same pose and didn't have a mustache, on his card he didn't. So they're sort of generic, but they do try to resemble the player. Just that the pose is generic, but nice card. Once again, gold coin chewing tobacco, the leading baseball players in the country. Jack Farrell. At shortstop, Arthur Irwin. Oh, and Jack was on the Washington team as well. Most of the players, after they disbanded in Providence, a lot of them went over to Washington and a lot of them went over to Indianapolis. Here is Arthur Irwin. He actually went over to Philadelphia, and this is an old Judge card. All old Judge are blank back. This one's cool because it does have a stamp of a prior owner. Arthur Irwin was the shortstop. And there's a story about him too, which I will tell you later. Third base, Jerry Denny. He was a very good this is an old Judge as well. A very good third baseman. And some prior owner was nice and rewrote the fading words on the card. This is him playing later in his years in Indianapolis. And then over to the outfield. Here is Cliff Carroll, another old Judge. And this is him on Washington. He was a good left fielder. Center fielder is Paul Hines. Now, Paul Hines was a fabulous player. If they had all-star games, he probably would have been an all-star. Every year he played for Providence. This is him on Washington, where he later played. And that's a dog's head tobacco cigarette pack. Old Judge, or Goodwin distributed them in Old Judge and a few dog's head. Paul Hines, like I said, was the all-star. He was the best position player on Providence. And he has very interesting facts about him, which once again I'll tell you later in a future episode of Tobacco Card Tuesday. So that's Paul Hines. And right field is Paul Radford. This is an old Judge cabinet card. I don't know if you can read that up there. And once again, Paul Radford was a good player. And this is him. He played for Cleveland after Providence disbanded. And let me show you the utility infielder. Once again, old Judge card. And that's Charlie Bassett. He was a very good utility infielder. And he later moved on to Indianapolis. All right, pitchers. In those days, teams had two pitchers, and they took turns. Providence was lucky and had two very good pitchers. The first one is Charles Sweeney. As far as I know, there are no cards of Charles Sweeney, but this is from a magazine in the 30s that had a little article about him. Like I said, he was a very good pitcher, and the other pitcher Providence had was a very good pitcher. And that's why they got off to a real good start. And unfortunately, their egos got in the way of each other. And Sweeney probably was the most loudest complaining that he thought he should be pitching more. So Sweeney actually left the team in mid-season. And that brings us to the other pitcher who stayed on, and he pitched just about every game from the midpoint season to the end. He was a workhorse, and that's Old Hoss Radburn. He's the one tagging the player out. Old Hoss Radburn is a Hall of Famer. He won 60-something games that year, 1884, and because he would pitch every day. They did have some pitchers that played like maybe one game. They'd bring up from colleges like Brown. Brown University had a real good team at the time, and so they would borrow players and give Old Hoss maybe a day's rest and use the other guy, or bring someone in, have him pitch one or two games, and then he'd be gone. But Old Hoss Radburn pitched the majority of the games from the midpoint on. And like I said, he is a Hall of Famer. And then finally, the manager of the team is Frank Bancroft. This is a T204 Romley. That's what the backs look like. Underneath the eBay thing, it says Romley. And you can see that it's embossed. So these gold, the gold part of the card are raised a little bit. Very paper thin these cards are. So that's the manager of the Providence Grays in 1884. He went on to manage the Cincinnati Reds and other teams. So that's it. I always was fascinated with this team. And like I said, they have a lot of firsts that were done and a lot of lasts that were done. And I'll get all into that in a future episode. But I just wanted to show you the players because I was excited to get the final card I needed in yesterday's mail. So, everybody, I hope you have a wonderful or terrific Tobacco Card Tuesday.